Like, what's going on, everybody, YouTube, whatever. Um, I had a wild day today. You know what I'm saying? My day was pretty chill, but something very strange happened to me on the train today. And I've been meaning to start making videos for a while now, because I know, you know what I'm saying, people don't like to read and all that. That's cool. But um, I had to make this video today. You know what I'm saying? I was on the train on the metro, on the blue line, headed towards Lago or whatever. And I was just standing listening to my music like I always do, and minding my business and such. And this young man came up to me. He looked like he was between the ages of maybe like 18 and 25, and he sort of, you know what I'm saying, looked at me like sort of to say what's up. So I kind of was like, what's up? And then I kind of like put my hand out because I thought he was gonna dap me up, but he ain't dap me up or whatever. So then I was a little confused. I thought he was trying to see the metro map. So I moved out the way thinking he was trying to see the metro map, but he actually was there was no metro map. So he was looking at me. So I was just like, I took my headphones off. I was like, what's going on, man? So he was like, you look familiar. And I said, I was like, he was like, where I know you from or something like that. And I was like, I don't know. I looked at him. I was like, you look familiar too. I mean, and he didn't actually look familiar, but you know how it is when somebody say you look familiar, and then you know what I'm saying, you looking at them like, you could look familiar. You know what I mean? So I was, I wasn't lying to him, but I was like, you kind of look familiar now that you mention it. So I was like, what schools did you go to? So I went through the elementary and the middle school that I went to, and you know, uh, we determined he ain't do none of those. So I was like, I don't know, man. Maybe you just saw me like in passing on the street or something like that. But when he asked me, he was, I could tell he was a little bit touched. He was mentally challenged. And I got that, like, when he first asked me the question, I could see his disposition was a little bit strange. He's about 5'9". He's shorter than me, dark skinned dude. He had like a square head, and you could just tell something was a little bit off. But all that to say, I was like, "Is everything good with you? You need everything all right?" I was like, "Is everything good with you?" And he was like, "No." So I was like, "No." I said, "What's wrong?" And he looked me dead in my eyes and he said, I never met my father. I never knew who my father was." And I could just see this compassion and this pain in his eyes, and instantly I had to tell him, I was like, you never, it's unfortunate that you never got to meet your father, you know what I'm saying? But Jesus can be the father that you have always wanted in your life or have been missing. You know what I'm saying? He was like, really? And I was like, yeah, Jesus will do that for you. Like, he'll fill all of the voids in your life. You know what I'm saying? And then he was like, I don't have a family, or, what I'm saying, I don't have any family. And I was like, dude, Jesus will be everything that you need. He'll be your family and everything. You know what I'm saying? All you gotta do is just trust in him and put it in his hands. And like, the dude just looked at me and he hugged me. And I mean, this guy, he was special. You know what I mean? He hugged me, and I mean, he hugged me close, and he hugged me tight for like 1 full minute. And which, a minute is a short period of time, but when you're hugging a complete stranger, it's like, it's awkward and it's an eternity. You know what I mean? So the dude hugged me, and I just hugged him, and I was like, it's okay, man. I was like, just put it in God's hands, put it in Jesus' hands, man. He'll solve it for you. It's okay. It's okay. You know what I'm saying? It was like he wasn't shedding tears, but he was crying, and I could see his eyes. He was really emotional, and I was just hugging him. So then I kind of had to push him off me a little bit. I didn't push him off, but I was just kind of like eased him off me a little bit. And I was just holding him by the shoulder, and I was just saying, man, all you got to do when you go home is just pray, man. Just put your hands together and talk to him. And he might not answer you right away, but he'll hear you. And when he hears you, he loves you and he'll listen to you. And he was like, he was just so surprised, you know what I mean? And I was just looking at him. He still had a lot of pain in his eyes, and I was like, dude, are you okay? Are you eating and stuff like that? And he was like, no. I was like, man. So I took out a little change. I gave him $20, and I was like, man, just get you something to eat. You know what I mean? And he's just was like, thank you, and he walked away. And he went to go talk to some other dude. You know what I'm saying? Down the on the other side of the train. I don't know what he's talking about. It almost seemed like he's in search for his father. You know what I mean? He's in search for his father, and I didn't look anything like him. But the fact that he's a little bit mentally challenged, he was able to express explicitly a lot of the pain that a lot of young men and young females who don't have their father and their families what they feel. But because we're normal thinking human beings, we mask our problems. We got life to live, so we can't sit back and be dwelling on all of that. But I don't. I'm blessed to have had my father, and I can't even try to fathom what it's like to grow up without your father. But all I can say is, we need to fix this problem in the black community. Men and boys, teenagers, whomever, if you have a kid, you need to own up to that responsibility. What you really should be doing first, really, you should be celibate. But if you can't do that, what you should be doing first is you need to sleep with a woman who you can say, okay, if she turns up pregnant, I'll be able to deal with her. Because what happens is y'all get these crazy baby mothers, and you like, my baby mother crazy, and then what I'm saying, she talking about you crazy, and what it is neither one of y'all took the time to actually get to know each other. You didn't care, she was a nut, you know what I'm saying? You might have been some D to her. Same thing for females. It works both ways, you know what I'm saying? But we have to fix this problem in our black community. It shouldn't be a problem with anyone, but it's so prevalent with us because it stemmed all the way from slavery, you know what I'm saying, when we were castrated and when they took the father away from the wife and his kids. But anyway, we're not gonna get into that today. But anyway, the dude came back and he was just like, "Thank you," and I said, "You welcome, man." But you know what? That ain't even really me for real. That's really Jesus. That's God that's doing that to you. So he said, "How can I know Jesus is real if I can't see him?" And I said something to him that I heard before. I said, "You can't see oxygen, can you?" And he was like, no. I was like, but it's there. You know what I mean? And oh, my roommate's about to come in. He kind of messing my video up. But I was like, what's up, man? I'm doing a little YouTube video on my phone. Yeah, but I was like, you can't see oxygen, but it's there. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, Jesus is the same way. You can't see him, but that doesn't mean he's not there. He's with us. You just have to invite him into your life. You know what I mean? And then he just was asking me a lot of questions like, what church do you go to? Are you a pastor? And it's funny he asked me if I'm a pastor because God, is I'm not going to undermine that position at all because that position is precious and it requires a wealth of knowledge and things like that and a wealth of spiritual gift. But I feel like that's that ultimately is what my calling is. But anyway, the dude was just like, what I'm saying, how you know Jesus? He was asking me so many questions. He was so fascinated. And ultimately, he just kind of walked away. But that was just a wild story, what I'm saying, that I thought I'd share. So I'll catch up with y'all next time.